Hey guys, in part 1 I showed you how I made this Damascus billet. It's going to end up as integral Nakiri, and I'll forge, grind, heat treat and reveal the pattern in this part. So let's begin.
Viver por ser simples, dia para ser feliz, tirando tempo só para amor, a casa que perepis, ouvindo fim preto branco, e as nuvens a passar.
I'm not going to go into depth with the forging as much because my aim is to actually do as minimal forging as possible. And no, it's not because I'm lazy, that's only half the problem, but really I don't want to distort that pattern too much. With that being said, enjoy the forging time lapse. Oh wait, never mind, it's all done. You may notice the blade is pretty thick, but that's necessary for the twist pattern. It's actually very interesting. By twisting a standard flat laminate billet, you're rotating the direction the pattern flows. So as you cut your billet, you'll see part of the end grain in your bar. That's why people twist the Crush W's pattern. But you do need to remove a lot of material, that's why it's so dummy thick. Like Alex Steele. I ground a full scale, normalised the steel by placing it in the kiln and raised the temperature to critical. I then left it to cool down while still in the kiln. This will slow the cooling process down by a lot. This makes steel nice and soft to work with, therefore it won't blunten the tools. Okay, I got this file guide on there, but it's obviously not big enough. You can see that the alignment pins aren't even in, but at this point I'm just going to have to go with it. It's better than just guessing, so. It's important to normalise the knife 3 times before quenching in order to realign the grain structure from all the forging and metalwork that I've done, just by heating the knife up critical and letting it cool to black. I then heated the kiln up to 830 degrees Celsius ready for quenching, but first I need to preheat the oil to make it more viscous, which makes it thinner, reducing the vapour jacket around the knife. A vapour jacket is pretty much bubbles around the blade, and because the oil is thinner, the size of the bubbles are reduced, creating more contact on the blade. Also, always agitate the blade up and down to let fresh oil reach it constantly, never circles or side to side. The oil is also fast quenching, which is recommended for these type of steels, 80 CRV2 and 15 and 20. There because in the future I am going to quench the chef's knife, so the Nakiri's not quite long enough, so it's just on that one clamp, but when I do the chef's knife, I got it holding it from both points, I guess. After tempering, I like to grind the knife to a thin edge to the point that it can cut paper. and tested to see how the brass or copper get affected while hitting it. You can see that it was chipping the edge, so I did raise the temp up in the kiln just a little and ran it through for another cycle. I then tested the knife again and had very little damage to the edge. It performed really good and I'm happy with where it's at, but the thing is I didn't film it.
Oh, that sun is hot.
For chef's knives, you want the edge pretty thin, and this is a great way to test if you made your geometry thin enough. You want to apply pressure on the edge of the knife and see if it still flexes over. Now this has no fancy bevel geometry, it's just a full flat to zero on the edge. I tried all kinds of grinds from S grinds to convex, but I haven't really had much luck with them. Maybe I just haven't found the best way to do it. But really the reason you'll use S grind or convex is for food release. And there's really no one vegetable that sticks to your knife pretty bad, other than maybe potatoes. And really it's not all that bad. I do on the other hand have a very slight convex grind for my chef's knives going into appleseed edge, and that's so if you hit bone it won't affect the edges badly. But I'm not doing that for this Nakiri because it's used to cut vegetables, which obviously they don't have bones. And the thinner the edge the better slice and dicer, but the more fragile. As long as you use the Nakiri for what it's designed for, you shouldn't really have a problem. I always use ferric that's really diluted because that creates a thinner solution, making a cleaner edge. And whenever I use 100% ferric, they can muddy out that fine detail, unless Rorschach's what you're going for. My aim for ferric is to get the depth in the pattern, then go to the coffee for getting contrast, which can get so fiddly to get right because the coffee can stay in the 1520, and I spent a whole week sanding and re-coffee etching the blade non-stop and I'm still not 100% happy with it. So if you guys have any tips or know something that could help, I'll truly appreciate that.
Did myself a mischief and cut myself sanding the blade.
I did decide to use Nescafe Blend 43 for an experiment, but it didn't really do anything that overly impressed me, so I did change back to Nescafe Original. So we all know a story with that. I accidentally cut myself sanding the oxides off the knife. Now with this hand. Not long after, I was getting ready to put it in the coffee and the knife slipped out of my hand. And out of instinct, I went to grab it. On the blade. I had to choose whether to hurt my hand or possibly drop the knife on the concrete. It was an easy choice. I'm practically Spider-Man from Wish. And the thing is, I go into shock whenever I see blood, although I know everything's going to be fine, which is annoying. I'm back, baby. That wasn't a joke, by the way. I'm really not that good with blood. And here we are, my friends. Part 2 is now finished, and in the next part we'll finish it off by making the handle and doing some performance testing. So if you want to see that, feel free to subscribe. Now I am also in the process of making a chef's knife, but that might be delayed for a bit because I wasn't completely happy with how the handle turned out. So I need to buy more material and figure that out. But in the meantime, I will be attempting to make a brute to forge knife for my mate, so there's that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great day.